but it can also mean that she might raise all 4 successfully, but the next time along, within 6 months or a year after birth, she could lose all those cubs. Something that is, I don't want to be a doomsayer, but it's sort of on the horizon for the Djuma cubs at the moment. So in that case, these females, some of them have got cubs that are only 3 months old at the moment, so they would have conceived 6 months ago, and if those cubs get killed by the males, and I'll explain a little bit more about that just now, because I know it's a very, very touchy subject, infanticide. If those cubs get killed, the female will go into estrus, sometimes even a false estrus, almost just to see if those males are going to stick around, and then after that into a true estrus, conceive again. So it means that these new males, if they do take over the pride successfully, then they could have their own offspring, their own genetic offspring, within about 4 months after taking over an area, because they are in turn going to need another 18 months after that, or another 2 years after that, to successfully raise those cubs. So that's why these males can't come in and decide, oh well, we're going to spend the next year and a half looking after other males' cubs, and then we're only going to mate, and then we're going to need more time to have our own cubs. So they're going to need 3 or 4 years just to have their own offspring then. Obviously they can't afford that time, because they probably won't be around for that much. So it's beneficiary for them to kill the offspring, get those females back into estrus, and have their own genetic offspring from that, as harsh as it might sound. Keep in mind, and this is what I was thinking about earlier today actually, that not that long ago in human history, infanticide was not all that uncommon. Even in Western history, in Europe, in African history, in various in Eastern history, the little bit I know about all the different parts of the world, it's something that was actually quite prevalent throughout a lot of human history, basically because various other reasons, often with your people that were at the top of leading countries and so on, didn't want to have other parties that could threaten your position. But it's not something that was uncommon with us quite recently, after we'd invented things like the fire and the wheel and machinery and language and culture and music. We were still killing other humans as well in infanticide, never mind all the rest of it. So not to go on about that too much, but as much as people can go very upset about it. I was in Cape Town on my leave now, and I spoke to a few of my friends about the lions and the prides takeover, and many of them reacted, oh, but can't you take the cubs out, or can't you do something with the males and so on? And of course we could, but that would miss the point, and it's also not quite as harsh as we think, because it's something that we only in our very recent history used to do ourselves. And let's see if there's any more questions, yeah?
Pieter, yes, also from Sandy again, and she's asking, what trees do giraffes prefer to eat? Is there one, and are they any they won't eat?
Sandy, another question, interesting one as well about giraffe. Basically, just asking if there's a specific one that they really like, and if there are ones that they don't eat at all. Now, there's not, I wouldn't say there's one tree that they really like. They prefer variety of species. Pardon me. They do like acacias a lot, just because acacias have got really good leaves, it's good food, and in general you could say they also like thorny type trees. If you think of something like a buffalo thorn, most trees that have thorns on them have those thorns to slow animals down when they eat them, because the leaves are quite tasty. So acacias definitely at the top of their list, but they will also eat bits and pieces of other trees. They'll eat, a while back I saw a giraffe eating combretum, especially the leadwood, which is not that common for them to feed on, but they'll eat them at certain times of the year. They even eat things that could potentially be poisonous for themselves, or in that case very, very poisonous for humans, things like tambuti. But they'll eat small amounts of it. Maybe it does help a little bit with internal sort of parasites in the intestines or in the stomach. Various reasons for it. They will eat small amounts of it. And sure, I'm talking a lot. Normally I'm not used to talking like this much. What I was going to say about giraffe, the one thing that can happen, coming back to certain trees that they don't eat, if you have giraffes in too small an area, or if there's too much pressure on the food that they have available to them, let's say maybe under severe droughts and there's a massive population of giraffe in the area, and they browse a lot on certain trees, those trees could produce enough tannin to eventually cause tannin poisoning. So that's something that can happen because of them browsing certain trees a lot, but that is normally only under severe circumstances. Quite often maybe on smaller game reserves where the animals are kept in a certain area and there's too many browsers relative to the area. They can overbrowse, and in the way the trees then protect themselves. The trees literally arm themselves with tannin and eventually fight back against browsers. So that can happen. But in terms of favorites, I would say probably the acacias in general. In this area there's not lots of them, but they like sweet thorns. The areas where you get sweet thorn, they really eat a lot of that. And just whatever good food is around, whatever is green and lush at the time. Any more questions, Jan?
Pieter, Valerie just asked that she heard that Graham and Emily are here, and if they could come out, and so we can see them and say hello to them as well.
I don't think they're here. No, Graham and Emily at the moment are in Johannesburg. We spoke earlier today, and they're also watching with us at the moment. And they're going to be out here next week again. They're coming down probably, if all goes well, on Tuesday. So they're not here at the moment. Otherwise, I would have insisted that they come and say hello. Maybe we'll do something like this next week. Not to put them on the spot. At the moment, they're going. So we'll see. Maybe Graham and Emily can say hello to you sometime next week. But they're not here at the moment. At camp at the moment, it's a lot of rain. It's getting thicker again. And it's James and his girlfriend Christy, myself, Jan, and Rexon is out for the evening. So Superior has gone back as well. So that's it. Only a few of us here at the moment. That will get quite busy again within the next couple of weeks, staff-wise. Any questions?